Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving into a seriously fascinating journey that bridges thousands of years of human thought. We are actually going to place the ancient Eastern philosophy of Advaita Vedanta side by side with modern quantum mechanics. And you might be wondering why. Well, because comparing these two seemingly completely opposite fields offers an incredibly profound and honestly surprising way to find peace, clarity, and real purpose in our chaotic modern world. So let's just dive right in. Okay, what if I told you that ancient mystics meditating deep in the forests of India and modern quantum physicists working in high-tech laboratories actually stumbled upon the exact same fundamental secret about reality? I know, it sounds a bit like science fiction, but the parallels are absolutely mind-bending. Both of these disciplines are basically begging us to look way past what we think we know to discover a much deeper, vastly more connected way of living.
All right, Section 1, the illusion of separation.
To really get this, we have to start with the absolute bedrock of Advaita Vedanta philosophy, which is this concept called Brahman. Now, Brahman isn't a person or a conventional god sitting up in the clouds. It is the ultimate, unchanging reality. It's infinite, it's eternal, and it's literally the foundation of all existence. So while our physical, everyday universe is just constantly changing and shifting, Brahman is the absolute source and substance of everything. A great way to picture this is through a classic analogy: the drop and the ocean. In Vedanta, your individual, deepest self is known as Atman. So just imagine the entire universe is this vast, limitless ocean. That's Brahman. Your individual self is just a single drop of water from that exact same ocean. It shares the exact same essential qualities. You aren't somehow separate from the universe. You are fundamentally made out of it. Now, in our everyday classical perception, we obviously see a world of separate, discrete objects, right? You are over there, I am over here. But in what we might playfully call quantum Vedanta, this everyday separateness is actually a total illusion. It's a cosmic veil called Maya. The deeper truth is a unified, non-dual reality. And the crazy part, modern physics is literally confirming this. This is where quantum entanglement enters the chat. Physicists have discovered that particles can become so deeply interconnected that changing the state of one instantaneously influences the other, even if they're sitting light years apart. Einstein famously called this spooky action at a distance, and it's just this stunning empirical mirror to the ancient Vedantic idea that deep interdependence is the actual fabric of reality. Moving right along to Section 2, Consciousness and the Observer. So from quantum physics, we get this wild concept called the observer effect. It basically suggests that reality at a subatomic level isn't fixed until it's actually measured or observed. The very act of measurement influences the system. Now, compare that to Advaita Vedanta's concept of Chaitanya, which argues that reality is actually shaped by the perceiving consciousness. In both paradigms, reality and consciousness are just inseparably entangled. Because reality operates in such a profoundly strange way, human language kind of hits a brick wall. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle tells us we just can't perfectly measure quantum variables at the same time. But it goes even deeper. Erwin Schrödinger, the brilliant father of quantum wave mechanics himself, he actually explicitly looked to the ancient Upanishads to build his theories. He realized that just as particles exist in these continuous flowing waves rather than separate little dots, the entire universe is essentially one continuous, interconnected wave of consciousness. Ultimate reality completely transcends our ability to put it into a neat little conceptual box. All right, Section 3, the 3 modes of nature. So, if the universe is this continuous quantum wave that Schrödinger talked about, how do we actually handle our messy, chaotic human lives? Well, Chapter 17 of the Bhagavad Gita offers this absolutely brilliant, practical framework called the 3 gunas. You can think of these almost like the fluctuating probability waves of your very own mind. First, we have sattva. This is the frequency of peace and balance. Then rajas, the wave of passion, high energy and ambition. And finally, tamas, that heavy frequency of laziness and ignorance. The ancient texts even link these mental waves to what we eat. Pure, healthy foods promote sattva. Bitter, hot, sour foods, they ramp up that restless rajas energy. And if you've ever felt completely brain-fogged and unmotivated after crushing a bunch of stale junk food, well, congratulations, you just experienced tamas firsthand. To really master yourself and excel in a life that's often full of doubts and struggles, you have to consciously balance these mental waves. First, you've got to reduce tamas. Stop putting things off, put the phone down, and limit the doom scrolling. Next, balance your rajas. Look, it's totally great to be ambitious, but you have to channel it productively and just drop the toxic selfish greed. Finally, actively promote sattva. Consciously practice kindness, be honest, and help out the people around you. Cultivating that goodness is exactly what frees your mind from chaos. Which brings us to Section 4, the art of mindful action. You have full control over your action, but no control over the results. Honestly, this is one of the most powerful, game-changing teachings you will ever encounter. Think about a farmer. A farmer has total control over how deeply he plows the earth and how he plants his seeds. But he has absolutely zero control over whether a massive, unexpected storm comes through. If he obsessively worries about the harvest while he's out there plowing, he's going to do a terrible job. The real secret to finding clarity is focusing entirely on your action in the present moment. And that perfectly defines karma yoga, which is, at its core, selfless service. When you truly realize that you are just a connected quantum drop in this infinite ocean, working purely for your own ego makes absolutely no sense. Karma yoga teaches us to do our duties beautifully for the welfare of everyone without being attached to those selfish outcomes. When you finally drop that selfish motive, you immediately stop accumulating the anxiety of failure. You literally turn your everyday work into a form of worship. Finally, let's wrap this up with Section 5, Finding Peace in Chaos. So here it is, the ultimate secret to success, totally synthesized from these ancient texts into a repeatable daily mindset. Step 1, focus. Put your undivided, complete attention into whatever work is right in front of you. Step 2, let go. The energy you waste worrying about success or failure, that is literally energy being stolen away from your actual work. And step 3, dedicate your efforts to the greater good. Act like you are a connected part of the whole, because, as we've seen, you are. You're aligning with the very nature of reality itself. Think about this for a second. If modern wave mechanics and ancient Vedanta are literally pointing to the exact same truth, if the boundaries of your ego are genuinely just an illusion, and if you are fundamentally a connected drop in an infinite conscious quantum ocean, then really, what is there left to fear? Keep questioning the nature of your reality, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.